The concept of praying. But what is praying? How do I have to pray? The definition of pray is to address a solemn request, petition, praise, supplicate and plead, to a deity or other object of worship. The act of submission before an imaginary entity, as God, an angel, or a deity. In order to receive, urgently, what we want, what we need and what we desire. When we pray, we usually bow our head, and we kneel, in an act of submission. Expecting that an imaginary being, as God, an angel, or a deity, to feel sorry and pity for ourselves, and that they would help us. Which of course, never happen. We kneel and bow our head, as an act of complete submission. Hoping and expecting, that somebody hears our needs, and our prayers. And to helps us. So, we pray to ask. When we kneel and bow our head, we recite prayers, the prayers that we have been teach. The prayers of somebody else. Did you know that the only prayer that is on the Bible, it's the Holy Father? All the other prayers have been invented by somebody else. And that's why they doesn't work. When we kneel and bow our head, when we pray, we should not repeat the prayers from somebody else. When we pray, we should use our own words, our own feelings and our own emotions. To ask for what we want. To ask for what we need. But with our own words, feelings and emotions. But praying, it's also to meditate, to think and feel about our day, to think and feel about our dreams, our goals. I can't tell you that praying will give you what you need and want. Because when we pray, we are praying to an imaginary being. We are begging and asking to an imaginary being, like God, the angels, or a deity. That doesn't exist. It's like when we say please, we are expecting that somebody else would give us what we want, what we need. But it's different, because when we say please to a real person, it's a lot more likely to receive what we need, what we want. But when we pray, we are praying, asking and begging to an imaginary being. And even if we ask, pray, beg, supplicate, implore, and plead for just and good things, we are doing it to an imaginary being. We are praying and begging to somebody who doesn't exist. And yes, I know that we pray with so much energy, devotion, faith and hope. Even with tears in our eyes, for our needs that are just and urgent. And we really hope and expect that a powerful being help us with our needs and problems. But the problem is that we are praying and begging to an imaginary being, like God, the angels, or an entity, which they doesn't exist. And that's why we feel so disappointed, sad, desperate, defeated, discouraged, frustrated, and upset when we see that even if we have prayed with so much energy, faith, devotion, and hope for good and just things, we never receive them. We never receive even a sign from the sky. Nothing. And this really disappoints us. I don't know if praying it's good. I don't know if praying it's worth it. Much less, I can tell you that if you pray with a lot of faith, devotion, tears in your eyes, energy and hope, that it will works. Because even if we pray with tears in our eyes and with so much devotion, faith, energy and hope, we are praying, we are asking, we are begging to an imaginary being that doesn't exist, like God, an angel or a deity.